Welcome to a now unedited FG series for round 4 in Emilia, Romagna. Knowledge Leclerc starts on pole from Kyle Larson and Antonio Giovinazzi. Then it's Tyler Reddick, David Camino, Ray Shen, Lil Buns, Denny Hamlin, Zach Wallace, Queez, Cyrus Space, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Ahmed, Kyle Busch, Scotland Rotak, Elliot Deli, Marcus Nelson, Zay Lane, Jensen Button, Catfish, Alan Lee, and iWorld. So, as we see the Hyperdrive driver starting on pole, I just want to point this out, we will not have editing for the FG Series races anymore, simply due to the fact that CapCut, with the tablet that I use to run these videos, has decided that it has had enough and that it no longer wants to work with me anymore because it continues showing corrupted files and it's not good. I just thought I had to explain myself. Well then, with Lars Leclerc starting on pole and Kyle Larson alongside, all 5 lights go on. And the Emilia Romagna E-Prix is green. Pretty good start from both front row men. On board with Larson trying to find his way with a cleaner run into the first chicane. Then his adversary in Lars Leclerc coming through that chicane. You can see the race curbs running over him. Is Larson. He's going to have another attempt to try and close it any further. Close to the wall. Someone has hit the wall though, further back. And there are yellow flags and a broken front wing being thrown up, and that is for Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick with a missing front tyre, broken front wing, and a race pretty much over for the 2311 racing driver. And we've got a virtual safety car. He's officially out of the race. Lil Buns backing up Quee for a second there. Still, someone's got a broken front wing somewhere around the track. Alan Lee letting Jensen Button go by. Elliot Deli had an alright start compared to his teammate, whose start was inspirational, some may say. And it looks like Zay Lane might actually have a little bit of damage, not something to be worried about. But virtual safety car ending with the top 2 6 seconds away from Antonio Giovinazzi. Fast lap of the E-Prix going to Lars Leclerc from Kyle Larson and Antonio Giovinazzi. We're looking to David Camino right on the back of Ray Shen. And Zay Lane, just going to touch on him, as iWorld now up into 19th on board with Zay Lane for Lenovo Ducati. He's had multiple concerns about his car and why it just seems to hug the wall. It did so at the first 2 rounds of the season, and honestly, I'm not sure his team knows or if he knows. His teammate up in 11th position, following Kimi Antonelli quite well. But Giovinazzi further up front, in 3rd position, defending Ray Shen. The opening lap at this track, usually very hectic. The race calms down, and then tyre problems cause carnage. 54% tyre wear for some soft tyre runners, so that could be a big issue. Larson setting a new fast lap of 108.800 as he's closing on Leclerc ahead. Giovinazzi sets a new fast lap. Lil Buns goes 2 seconds quicker than what Larson did. Cyrus Space, new fast lap. What is Larson going to do here? He's 0.4 of a second away from Leclerc. Does he want to try and make into the hairpin? Not quite. Many drivers have come into the pits at the end of this lap. I expect the race leaders to do something similar. iWorld trying to get past Marcus Nelson, the Trackhouse man, in 13th. The Pinnacle man in 14th. As you can see, Elliot Deli come out of the pits. Virtual safety car. Oh, that's a spinner and a half. Oh dear. Marcus Nelson out of the pre. iWorld also out of this race. Oh, I'd hate to see the scenes inside that car, because that was hectic on a whole other level. 20% car damage for iWorld, who is not missing either of his tyres, which is good. what isn't so good is the fact that, well, he was spinning across the entire track. The fact he's still in this race is something unbelievable. We're back racing, but there was so much debris strewn along the track. Larson takes the lead as Leclerc comes in, but of course that's only for now. Giovinazzi comes in. Lil Bun stays out and inherits the race lead here in Emilia Romagna. Is Leclerc going to come out of this ahead? Yes, he is. But they were racing on pit exits. I'm actually not sure. Were any of these guys in the pits before him? I don't know, but Button currently up in 8th position. I'm taking a look at everyone here, and I'm pretty sure all of these drivers were in the pits earlier. Not in the pits, rather they started this race on the medium. So yeah, Leclerc does have the Nat race lead. As we look to Okui in 2nd position. He's the only man still out there on the soft tyres, and he's, wall ride! He's lost his front tyre, went way too long on those softs. And that's Elliot Deli and Catfish, also in a big incident. Deli losing part of his front tyre. He's certainly out, as Leclerc's teammate Kui out of this E3. And I would not be surprised if Elliot Deli suffered the same fate. Lil Buns gains from this so much time when he comes into the pits. Will he resume the race lead, considering that Leclerc is currently in 5th? The guys in front of Leclerc all coming in. Does Lil Buns inherit a race lead for Apex Pinnacle as their formerly Monoposto Championship operation sees new form? The FG Series operation has a race lead in hand. Lil Buns still leads the Emilia Romagna E3, but he's got Lawless Leclerc, who's got the momentum. He's got the blue hyperdrive FG car around him, surrounding him. He's driving that thing on the podium, and he's trying to get himself into the race lead. But we've got full course yellow. Is that for Elliot Deli? I think it might be, because I don't see anyone out of this race or with damage. It is for Elliot Deli, we are being told. And there's not much else to say. Virtual safety car is now out there. Where the Trackhouse man just retired, but you know, things happen. Virtual safety car ending. And just going to point this out. Iwald is currently in 4th with so much damage to his car and tyres that need to come off of his car right now. This is something else. This is, I'm pretty sure, a strategy that Apex Pinnacle were forced to try and test, as he's now defending from Antonio Giovinazzi. And he should come in, and does come in. Iwald pits. And you can see all the drivers actually touching that grey line that marks the pit lane entrance, and also the track limits. They say it's a white line, but you're smart enough to know that that's clearly grey. Like, Kyle Larson now setting a fastest first sector of anyone, and he's all over the back of Lawless Leclerc. We're coming up to half race distance, but Larson in the number 76 Ocampo Racing team car is closing up to the back of the hyperdrive in front of him. It's not quite close enough to even think about making any lunges. He'll be breaking into that chicane as always. And I don't think Larson's going to want to try and make a move. Ray Shen closing up to the back of David Camino right in front of him. Denny Hamlin behind in fighting off Zach Wallace, as Izzat Ahmed trying to close in on Antonelli as well. No one really trying to make any moves yet. And here comes Kyle Larson. He's got attack mode on Lawless Leclerc. He's going to look to the inside. The pole sitter is relegated down to P3 as drivers coming into the pits. Almost a wall for Kyle Larson there. As here comes Leclerc. Round 2. Fighting for 2nd position. Almost a wall between these two. Just about keeping it clean. Jensen Bussin with a fastest lap of 106.066 for Power Motorsport, who are looking to score no points today in 11th and 13th. Possibly even lower, considering that Camino's just out of the pits. But my oh my, what a fight for second between Larson and Leclerc that we've just watched. So now doing their best to close in on Lil Buns, who leads this E3. He's got the soft tyres, there's Lil Buns, but of course Soft's holding up a lot worse than the mediums. And yeah, yellow's in the second sector for Kimi Antonelli. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Unfortunately, massive issues for him. He's got tons of damage. Can he pull it back to the pits? I doubt it. 18%, and he's missing his entire right side of the car. Giovinazzi and Leclerc come into the pits. Lil Buns also in. Larson also into the pits. Many drivers using this opportunity to come in. But will we see a virtual safety car? Almost definitely, because there's no way that Kimi's going to be able to bring that car into the pits. It's just the two. Oh, what's happened to Catfish? He's dropped back down the order as well. Alan Lee coming up across and now retired from the race. Kimi Antonelli at half race distance. Lil Bun still leading the way, but now from the two Ocampo Motorsport cars of Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. And Busch 1.3 seconds off the back. Catfish and Alan Lee coming into the pits for their second stops. Likely not going to be their last stops. And we go back racing. 1.5 seconds the gap between first and second. Does Busch try and do anything? We were on board with Larson. We're now looking. Oh! Oh! That's a big incident for Zaylane. Out of the race. Another virtual safety car. That's the biggest shunt I've ever seen in any of our championships ever. If the flip last time out was catastrophic, that was cataclysmic. Busch comes into the pits with 6 laps to go. Oh my god, I've never seen a wreck that massive. There's no other words for that. It was the biggest wreck I've ever seen. He went over the catch fencing as well, did Zaylane, with 6 laps left to run. And he's been struggling with keeping that car away from the walls as we see Ahmed fighting with Busch and Hamlin. He's gone past Denny Hamlin. Now he's looking in the back of Kyle Busch. Looks to the inside line of the chicane. Goes very deep. Just about keeps it out of the wall. Or as we've seen many other drivers just hit the wall. And there are clouds forming over this part of Italy. And is there a chance of wet weather tyres going on for these cars? Leclerc seemingly beginning to feel issues with his tyres. You can see grey clouds over the track. Will we see rain? Or will it remain as is? They're staying out. Larson stays out. Lil Buns has stayed out with 5 laps left to run in this race. On board with Scotland Rotak, who comes into the pits. 54% tyre wear, and he's going on to mediums. Probably would have gone on to softs if he had the choice, but maybe the team at VAR not seeing anything wrong with how things are going. Hamlin and Camino coming into the pits as well. Probably also new dry tyres going on. Those are mediums going on for David. As we see iWorld setting a fastest third sector. 4.6 seconds quicker than the last fastest third. That seems impossible, but we've just seen it. And in this championship, pretty much anything you'd expect to be impossible is possible. Like, we just saw a car flip over the catch fencing. That's just unreal. And I hope we never see something like that again. On board with Scotland Rotak in 9th position, looking to his teammate now, Ahmed in 7th. And VAR getting points today would be pretty good. Leclerc, Larson, and Giovinazzi all coming in for mediums. But Lil Buns staying out there. And these medium tyres should see them to the end of the race. Zach Wallace also coming into the pits. But for the race leader out front, Lil Buns seemingly doing a pretty good job for his team. Kyle Busch now up into 2nd with soft tyres. As Cyrus Space coming into the pits as well for the Sims Motorsport Komatsu Sims Motorsport, title sponsor only for the FG series. And with 4 laps to go in the 4th round. Oh my goodness me! Tyres strewn across the track. Jenson Button is out of this race. And that was Antonio Giovinazzi missing his front tyre as well. That's the second biggest wreck we've seen today as Zach Wallace into the back of Giovinazzi. Oh, and the tyres are still on the track as well. Virtual safety car. That's scary. That's really scary. Wow. 3 laps left to run. We're down to 3 to go. The final 5th of the race. But I have no words. We're down to 14 runners in this race. There's Catfish coming through that part of the track. Hopefully that's been cleared up. And Lil Bonds has gained so much from that. Bush and Ahmed coming in. Yellow's in the 2nd sector then. And that's for the 2 Sims Motorsport cars. Alan Lee losing his front tyre. As there goes Cyrus Space ahead of his teammates. And I'm pretty sure that this is it for Alan Lee's race. For the multiple-time FEMC race winner. His FG series campaign has been pretty poor. So on board with Bush. Luckily, debris has been cleared up down there at that chicane. On board with Hamlin. Beginning to feel the struggles with the tyres. And yes, Alan Lee out of this race. As, oh, that's Lil Buns coming up to the car. Just about doesn't reach it in time to hit it. But my oh my, this race is gonna have so many moments for highlight reels. It's gonna be unbelievable. As we begin lap 13, it's Lil Buns from Kyle Larson and Lawless Leclerc, the top 3. And it's Zach Wallace in 4th from Kyle Busch and Scotland Rotak, the top 6. As iWorld closing in on Rotak. Not too sure how much more he can do. Bush on the back. Closing in. He's going to get attack mode as they go across the line. iWorld into the pits. Bush into 4th position. Ahead of the Lenovo Ducati man as the 2 VAR drivers now. 6 and 7. Ray Shen comes in for his 4th stop of this race. The cars and drivers so much more spread across the track considering the amount of drivers who have retired from this race. It feels like this is the race where nobody wanted to finish. If Kamino was racing somewhere, his tyres would have absolutely not had it. The 2 Penske drivers running 12th and 13th on board with Catfish, the man in 13th position. And today has just seen so many incidents. Hopefully we don't see any others. Lil Buns starts the penultimate lap of this race. Lawless Leclerc is going to get attack mode on Kyle Larson to try and rain on the Ocampo Motorsports man's day to stop it from being a 2-4 and try and make it a 3-4 instead. All over the curbs. Don't want to do that too much, Leclerc. If you do that in the FEMC, you'll get a penalty. No penalties in this championship. And that's the wall! Oh, dear! Lawless Leclerc, a passenger! In one of the biggest incidents we've seen all throughout today. It's going to be a 2-3 for Ocampo Motorsport. Into the pits came another driver as Hamlin in the pits. Rotak out of it. But Lawless Leclerc out of this race. We've had 10 retirements today. And it's another virtual safety car. And he was a true passenger in that crash. Hit the first wall. And the trajectory from that just fed him into the second. Not too much else that Leclerc physically could have done there. We're on board with Hamlin. Denny Hamlin. He's now up into 7th due to Leclerc's crash. As we're on to the final lap of this inexplicably crazy E3. We've had 4 races in a row where we've had just nothing else other than a true wreck fest. Lil Buns In the slipstream of Catfish ahead, almost hit the wall, does hit the wall! Lil Buns! Oh my goodness! That's a massive shunt for the Apex Pinnacle car! But do you want to know what that means? Ocampo Motorsport have a 1-2 in hand with this virtual safety car. Kyle Larson leads the Emilia Romagna E3 as the two men he was fighting with both out of this race. Kyle Busch now up in second and Zach Wallace is third. We go back racing. Young Money is about to cash out. His teammate coming through the hairpin, but he's in the wall. Oh my goodness! It's another twist in the tail! Ahmed out of this race for Van Amersfoort Racing! This has been absolute chaos to end this race. Will Larson make it to the end? Will his teammates get past him? What is his dashboard saying? 42%. Larson will make it to the end, but he is racing his teammates to the end of this race. Which Kyle will it be? Busch or Larson? He's coming up to the final chicane. Zach Wallace also smelling blood here, but they're gonna come up to the other Ocampo Motorsport man, breaking hard into the chicanes, gets past Larson, who loses out on a race win at the last possible opportunity. It'll be Kyle Busch who wins the Emilia Romagna E3 from Zach Wallace. And Kyle Larson probably won't even be on the podium today. Scotland Rosak, but Van Amersfoort Racing takes home P3 from Denny Hamlin. And into the wall goes Ray Shen on the last lap, coming out of the last turn. Larson's in the pits, 7th for him. Could have been a race win. But with 10 finishes today, it'll be Kyle Busch who just about scrapes by with the race win. Oh my god, that was the most hectic race I've ever commentated over. That was something else. But this is the podium then. Kyle Busch wins from Zach Wallace and Scotland Rotak. Should have been his teammate. Should have been Zay Lane. Should have been literally any other driver on this grid. Could have been any other driver on this grid. But he wins. He wins this race. At the last opportunity, does Kyle Busch ahead of Wallace, Scotland Rotak, Hamlin, Camino, iWorld, Kyle Larson, Ray Shen, Cyrus Space, and Catfish, with the rest of the drivers not finishing this race. And you have to feel for Lil Buns, who could have won at the last possible opportunity. In the drivers' standings, Elliot Delly leading the way from Zach Wallace and Kyle Busch. Then it's Catfish, Ray Shen, Ica Iwald, Jensen Button, Tyler Reddick, Quee, Denny Hamlin, Ahmed, Wallace Leclerc, Scotland Rotak, Alan Lee, and Cyrus Space. Then it's Camino, Larson, Joe Venazzi, Buns, Zaylane, and Marcus Nelson, and Emi Antonelli. In the constructors' standings, heading into race 5 in Monaco, Team Penske leading the way from 2311 Racing and Hyperdrive FG, then it's Lenovo Ducati, Trackhouse Racing, Ocampo Racing Team, Power Motorsport, tied with VAR, then it's Apex Pinnacle, Komatsu Sims FG, and Revolution Racing. We'll see you guys next time then for the Monaco E3.